What we'll do now is ask the operator. I did explain to you that coming up in the second half of the program, we will be having that a part of the address, because we don't have enough time to show the entire thing, a part of that address by the PS Permanent Secretary in the Public Service Department, Mr. Reginald Brotherson. He addressed some public servants coming up against the backdrop that it was Public Service Day, UN Nations International Public Service Day. So take a look at that clip. By the end of it, it'll be time for me to wrap up today's program. This is Facing the Nation.
Thank you so much.
Customer friendly and economically progressive. We need a greater role to play in factoring in analytical and being rational over purely ideological policies or intervention that threatens professional improvement in the public service. You know, some of us are steep in our ways. We got to strive for the development of technology and the new thinking to change those ways that we see that we are dinosaurs and adapt to change that could advance our society and advance the public service. So we have to jettison the outdated operational processes and procedures, tools and techniques, and eradicate dysfunctional leadership styles or management systems that are inefficient and ineffective. We really cannot utilize 20th century techniques for 21st century problems. You cannot show leadership by dictatorship. You have to show leadership by example. And I'm going to address leadership later on in the presentation. So with this, we'll be functioning on the development of a new set of fundamental public service principles. One where everyone is successful. In order to be successful, first, we must have a goal, of course, a definite purpose for their existence. And if you ask me what I mean, I speak about success in the progressive rationalization of a worthy deal, as all Nightingale would have posited. We need career results-based, goals-oriented, and critical thinking public servants. Problem solvers, not problem makers. And I always say to my staff at the Department of Public Service, there's an issue before you. And you know what? You start looking at the glass half empty, then seeing it half full. And we've got to look at, I always say to them, how can you help? First premise you must address, how can you help? You can't help, what can you do to make it better? As against shooting it down and throwing ideas out. So this we talk about the new thinking, critical ways of addressing issues. Seeing the glass half full as against seeing it half empty. Just let us put the positive in front of the negatives. So with this, we'll be focusing on the development of a new set of fundamental public service principles, as I said. The successful public servant is a person, and this is interesting, who's getting up each morning to go to work because he or she loves going to work early. He or she is a public servant who has career goals, gets up and look for circumstances, the desire, and if they don't find them, then they make them. He or she must not have a personal computer or printer, and I emphasize that personal, but being a steward of that government asset. But resort to using the pen or the paper, the ruler, the marker, the visual aid. A successful lecturer is a child who decides he or she wanted to teach and does it every day because he or she loves to impart knowledge to the students each day. The little or sometimes no pay. You ask some of our teachers, they go the extra mile. Some of them hold lessons for free because they want to see the success in that child. A successful doctor is he or she who loves to save lives. Do we have any doctors in the house? A successful engineer is one who decides to provide technical services for structural advancement, infrastructural development, so that we can live happy and we have a pilot in the house. Successful engineer. Think about my brother. And there are many persons who enter the public service on the contrary, because they were looking for a job. Okay, for a job, the president said we want career public servants. Knock a little hustle, public service, I can walk a couple morning, the contract get a good duty and scoot out. But we don't address it as a career. So if we don't address it as a career, it's at any port for a storm. You treat the people anyhow and so on and things like that. So we're talking again about career. They are driven by exterior forces that just come, you occupy public space. You underperform and still expect a raise of pay at the end of the year. And you know what? The Commission of Inquiry report, 89 recommendation, that Commission of Inquiry report into the public services the President had caused to happen, having 89 recommendations. And a few of the recommendations that jump out talk about good pay for good work. Talk about incremental increases. So we can't come to work together. At the end of the day, I produce so much, you produce so much, and one across the board increase. So whether you work or you don't work, you draw down, as the boys would say. No. There will be issues with how do we move someone's salary in an incremental way for performances. So the President did refer sometime when he accepted that report. If you're lazy, you get lazy pay. I don't think we have lazy public servants in the house. So many of you would not get lazy pay. So we all should commit ourselves to perform. So notwithstanding what I said, we cannot condone a system with crippling challenges where there are tares among the weeds. One of the things that matters is monthly paycheck for some persons, irrespective that most of them leave their offices at 4 p.m. instead of 4:30 each day. Coming to work at 9 instead of 8 a.m. Taking their precious time to park their vehicles. And I could sing a song about those who have fancy vehicles, but while I was a chorister, I would not attempt to sing. My voice has changed over the years. 50 minutes to purchase breakfast and snacks. 20 minutes to read the newspapers. 1 hour to check the emails. 50 minutes to catch a gaff. The government telephone, of course, And what? We have to pay you. Then I talk about what they did the night before. Shutting down the computer systems at 3 p.m. each day, while taking the final minutes to chat and use the washroom and fix themselves for the climax of the day. Just think about these things. And think about whether it is good for the public service that we want to change. They want nothing to impede or get between them and their high point. They leave office very early. And you will see it's amazing how long it takes to settle down to do government work or busy with the day's activity versus the minimal time it takes to evacuate the premises as though there's a fire drill. Waiting on the stairs or the passageway, just about 4:15, just waiting for the clock. And when they implement the fingerprint story. There was a battle with the union. You can't change the condition of service without consulting us. But of course, being a union person as well, you just got to change with the times because we want the value for the money. And if you do the electronic system, then we know those who are cheating and those who are giving the government work for pay, for good pay. The point is, you just cannot be exact with the system because the system can be exact with you. So, the government of Guyana has one mission. And the government is in the business of transforming Guyanese to enjoy, as the Minister of Finance said, a good life in the budget and to realize our true potential. We intend to do this by advocating a new set of fundamental principles. One, we are keen on breaking the plateau by creating the new normal, as we would say, that is driven by stretch objectives to achieve high-performing teams. You know, teamwork, we talk about strategic innovations for evidence-based decision-making. You just don't make decisions blindly, you know. Like going by border market, you see some people buying greens. They say, well, the price of greens gone up without not knowing that the truck didn't come down in time to bring the greens and so on. You know, you're making decisions evidence-based and informed. And when you make good decisions, you develop a good country. We want the government, and the government believe in participatory democracy, fundamental human rights, all of these things to be respected. And since involvement and participation and inclusion are marks of good governance, the government intends to manage customer experience and expectations by ensuring that there is a greater civic involvement through consultation, multi-sectorial and stakeholder collaboration. You said we restore collective bargaining. Let's come and sit at the table and talk how we can increase condition of service as against you having a position every year. And sometimes you must just sit back and realize the change and bask in the glory of the change and what we can do to make it better as public servants. And given the fact that Guyana is on the thrust of advancing its socio-economic development to better position us for takeoff, we intend to work with our regional and international agencies to converge our policies or converge them by assessing the lesson learned and best practices in keeping with the international benchmarks. With this, we will continue to ensure value and innovation in every sector, and we talk about best practices as we go along. Guyana is not an island. The nation's wealth is the nation's health. And by this, our core competences understood or underscored by investment in human resource development. As much as we undermine or we determine to develop our human capital by investing in our human resource through capacity building and training and professional development. Composite to this HR development is the establishment of strategic human resource management system that engage mentors and coaches and public servants to realize continuous improvement. And let me pause here to say to you that you'll be shocked to know the number of training opportunities that the Department of Public Service over the last 2 years has made available to public servants. In our last budget presentation in the National Assembly, we have over close to 200 persons doing various degrees, postgraduate and doctoral work in foreign countries. We have over 1,000, about 1,200 persons at the local universities, the other institutions such as the Guyana School of Agriculture, the technical institutes throughout Guyana, Carnegie School, Guru School of Arts, the nursing schools in Guyana. And just think about those number of persons that we have on training. Forgetting the hundreds also that go for training in India, and China, in Japan, in Korea, throughout the Caribbean. Instead of 4:30 each day. Coming to work at 9 instead of 8 a.m. Taking their precious time to park their vehicles. And I could sing a song about those who have fancy vehicles, but while I was a chorister, I would not attempt to sing. My voice has changed over the years. 50 minutes to purchase breakfast and snacks. 20 minutes to read the newspapers. 1 hour to check emails. 50 minutes to catch a gaff. The government telephone, of course, you know. And these are some of the things that are being done to get our human capacity up to speed. And sometimes, you know, we see our shoes boiling us. Shoe tight. So we go around the car and we see a man without foot. I say all this to say that count our blessings, count them one by one. These are some of the things that are being done. As Minister Hammond once said a few weeks ago, we want a bright nation, an educated nation. These are the opportunities our tax dollars are allowing us to do. And public servants are benefiting now more than ever. And somebody should clap, man. Let me get it on there. We are benefiting now more than ever. And fundamental to our policy is the notion that our meaningful coexistence is predicated on mutual and beneficial public-private partnership. And with this, we move forward. We intend to create strategic alliance that allows for greater networking, as I said, intercollaboration, with and without public service. By this, instead of operating in silos, we cannot operate in silos. We'll continue to develop frameworks that are significant to intergovernmental support to interagency partnership. And I want to get back to silos because many of us as leaders, we get work done and we smile, P.S. you did a good job. The work of the team, the people who cause you to look well. Some of us just forget it. So, you know, we take the praise, and it cannot happen in a modern public service. Teamwork, be part of the vision, be part of the team, the chain reaction. And many of you are here. We value, or I value your presence because we regard this day as an important day.
All right, a lot coming there from the Permanent Secretary in the Public Service Department, Mr. Reginald Brotherson. He said a lot. Some of it was a bit amusing, but true, very factual, very true. And as public servants, come on, some of the public servants I know at home, well, I don't know why you would be at home at this point, but when they rebroadcast this air, some of you are definitely guilty of some of the things that he's talking about, and it's all about trying to change your ways, to turn from those ways and those things that you do that you know for a fact that are not right. And the permanent secretary rightfully said these are things we must get rid of. And really, indeed, as public servants in Guyana, you should all count your blessings. And just to remind you that one of the mandates of the APNU AFC administration is to strengthen the public service, and by strengthening the public service, that will contribute to providing a good life for, of course, all Guyanese, so that sometimes when we go, you don't have to meet somebody with a very unpleasant face and unpleasant personality, and those things really upset the members of the public, especially when public service public servants are not doing what they're actually paid to do. Anyway, enough from me for today. On that note, I have to wrap up today's program. I'd like to take this opportunity to once again thank very much the minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, the Honorable Valerie Garrido. She's such a joy, isn't she? I know you agree with me, and she certainly made my day, and I'm sure she made your day too. And she gave a lot of information about what her ministry is doing for the people of our nation, specifically to those hinterland communities. And I always say this, it's unfortunate that those of us living in Region 4, sometimes we tend to forget the hinterland communities. We only think about it when it comes to mining, or in Guyana. I think that the talk is that everybody would understand, going in the bush. When you're going in the bush, you're going in the bush to make money. And that's not what it's about. It is about social cohesion and national unity, as I remind you that the president is always preaching national unity. So we have to find a way to bridge the gaps that still exist between our people. On that note, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you very much for tuning in. Of course, join me again next week. I know we still have the minister within the Ministry of Communities responsible for housing. We still have that conversation outstanding, but I cannot give you a day yet when she will be here, but I'm still promising you that she will be here, and all those questions that you inbox and email me will certainly be answered whenever she comes. Monday is a holiday. Ensure that you use it to relax. Those of you who are not going to relax, have fun, but ensure that you have clean fun. Do not drink and drive, and even if you're not drinking, try not to consume excessive alcohol. It does nothing good for your health. Until next time, I'm Malika Ramsey. Be good Guyanese citizens. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And of course, this has been Facing the Nation.